happening, everyone? Happy Saturday. How's it going out there? Hope you're doing well. Hope you got your bull costume on, your bull facade, your bull spirit, your bull, maybe you're just pure bull. That's fine too. I haven't seen Permabull, other than Permabull tokenomics and the ecosystem. I was thinking of Permabull as in the rallying call of the 2017 cycle or so. It's my third cycle, if y'all aren't aware. And that's when cycle theory really started to hit. After that, I was like, yeah, things just don't go forever, even though it's amazing tech and all this stuff. Things do happen in cycles. So, regardless, though, hopefully we're in the up part of the cycle for the next few months or so, at least. Obviously, maybe ups and downs. Not financial advice. I have no idea. Just things I hear and things that I hope to come true this season of the bullishness. So, whatever color or animal you're wearing, put your animal in the chat. Put your spirit animal in there if you don't mind. We'll go through it in a minute. But without further ado, welcome back to the show to talk about PulseX and all the amazing things. Top Gun Hexavian, welcome, sir.
Hey there, Max. Thanks for having me. Always a pleasure to be on here, man.
You know, we were on there during the PulseChain launch. On here a few times talking about moon math and ups and downs and all kinds of fun stuff. You're one of the people, especially early on, talking about the buy and burn. I think even I had you on here during testnet times to go through some of the mechanics and stuff too. Could we start off maybe just a bit? I'll go through the chat. I already have some questions and stuff too, and I know we got some moon math things to get to. But can you remind everyone just where did PulseX kind of come from? Like what is this? Like why is it the premier DEX on PulseChain? Were people so excited? Why was $1 billion sacrifice for it? Just maybe an overview for people who either are new to PulseChain, or just, hey, I sacked for PulseX a couple years ago. Oh, I'll come back. Oh, here it is. Well, how do you refresh people on this stuff?
Well, right from the beginning, you've got Richard Hart forking Ethereum and making PulseChain and not actually having the best experiences with Uniswap, even after they pretty much made them famous with all the hex swap volumes. So he decided to copy Uniswap because we were going to need something for the chain. It was going to be the most liquid DEX because of the AMM, because he had to go in there and buy and change the weights when he copied everything in order to balance it out for the new token supply. With these factors combined, the other thing is Uniswap apparently, or is it PancakeSwap, within the DEXs somewhere, it's already in the code where the buy and burn potentially could be set up and used, but they decided to leave it inert and not use it. So, I mean, this concept of actually rewarding the users and putting the fees that are collected from it back into the liquidity, that's amazing. That hasn't been done anywhere else because greedy insider tech VCs and yada, 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 nobody wants to part with their little pot of gold. They're all a bunch of leprechauns. So Richard Hart apparently is like, yeah, no, I'm cool. I'm not going to hoard everything here, and decided to redistribute the wealth a little. So us poor people speculating on what potential value could something have. Crypto doesn't have valuations. Like, wait, yeah, no, this thing has a revenue model. Wait, what? And that revenue gets used to buy up tokens. Okay, so the burning's not just a gimmick. No, because the money gets put in the liquidity pools, or the value, because it's all crypto tokens. But yeah, that's a pretty friggin' amazing concept, and no one's willing to do it other than Richard Hart. So being the most liquid DEX, having the most access for any assets you want to trade, and then also putting a cut of the revenue back into people's pockets. That's a pretty interesting concept for a piece of program to just do automatically. Yeah, that is what I think makes it very much the premier DEX that at the top of the last bull cycle got everybody amped enough to go, yeah, let's put $1 billion into this thing.
Would you say that you're excuse me, would you say that you're bullish on PulseX, Top Gun?
Yeah, no, not at all. I've only made like hundreds of videos on it. Yes, I'm bullish on PulseX. No matter what you do, like I'll keep singing the Tumblewumba song. We get knocked down, but get up again, because you're never going to keep me down. Like, no matter how crappy the chart is, like the best example of how effective the buy and burn is to go have a look at the Pulse chart and then go have a look at the PulseX chart. The Pulse chart, clearly double bottom. The PulseX chart, clearly that was a higher second low. So, I mean, just looking at those two charts, switch it even to like the weekly and zoom out the whole year and a half of it. Or
You talking about the pulse to PulseX chart?
yeah. If we go to that, it's just simpler, faster. Because I mean, the point is so easily made when you just switch it from its standard view to ratio.
So
Most people in crypto at this point won't be telling you about ratio chart trading or ratios, but they're very important. They tell some good stories. So yeah, have a look at this chart and switch it to its switch it from USD there to Pulse, and zoom. We got to go switch it to a weekly chart. Yeah, there. Now for the entire year 2024, that's buy and burn at work. You know, guys, like that is a steady uptrend for an entire year. And so, I mean, you don't see it right away on the price chart because it's Hart's Law dragging it around with Pulse, because the charts do look a little similar, other than when you zoom in and you realize Pulse made a double bottom. PulseX did not. PulseX made a higher second low during that phase because of this, because the buy and burn is just active like a Terminator running around. It can't be argued with. It can't be reasoned with. It can't be bartered with. It can't be stopped. It will just keep coming and destroy every piece of PulseX it can find. So I think that is, I think that's brilliant, because that's just going to keep pushing price up just a little bit. So even when the market corrects down, like in our opening, the next bear market, we're still going to see heavy corrections for a half year like that. But you know, with the buy and burn constantly working, it leaves me very optimistic that this DEX is going to outshine, where like on no other L1 has the DEX ever been more valuable if you're comparing market caps. You know, like Uniswap didn't beat Ethereum, but we might actually very much so see the case where, yeah, PulseX becomes technically more valuable than PulseChain itself in market cap and weight because of the activity of the buy and burn. I think that's incredibly bullish. I know it's not meme coins, it's not Pepe, it's not all this stuff that's flying this cycle that everyone's talking about, but you know, maybe DeFi is not dead, or Hex is a great meme, because like you saw MetaMask's swap thing, the top 5 coins, like Hex is number 4 now. Like, man,
yeah.
There's lots of reasons.
Our ecosystem seems to be coming alive. I know we had that major pump back in January, and then we had some fun Hex news in commentary in March or so, and then since September, I think. Let me look at the. Gotta go Pulse real quick and just let's look at Hex real quick. In September, I felt like that was around maybe one of the local bottoms or so. Let's see. Yeah. September, everything just kind of went, just kind of dragged down until around here, and then boom, just shot super up. I mean, look at, what was that, a 7? I had a tweet about this the other day, like a 7x in no time. It was like 003. I think that was like a 7x in a month or something like that. Crazy. Or some of the x's. And then look at where we're at now. Just keep flashing in and out of 3 cents. So is it waking up? Are people waking up? Is the cycle waking up? What's happening?
Yeah, very much looks like, right? And we're standing here confused, just standing around with our thumbs basically up our butts, just going, what, huh? What's going on? This is because we're in shock from the trauma of the whole bear market. So we're, what is this, the disbelief phase? I think you and I are still kind of stuck a little in the disbelief phase, because we got to ask each other, like, is this actually hope? Should we be hopeful right now? Like, is it on? I'm pretty sure it's on. Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're stuck just somewhere between disbelief and optimism. I think really
rally fell like the others.
Yeah, I think once we start seeing over sack price for Pulse and PulseX, you'll see the complete shift from like a little bit of disbelief to like pure optimism. Like, I think we're going to get a very good season here, one way or another.
Nice. Yeah, I think I saw this at 555 the other day as well. I started dropping some zeros, man. I want to drop a few zeros. That'd be pretty sweet. What do you want to go into as far as PulseX volume, buy and burn? Like what? I mean, just which vertical you think would be interesting to kind of get into?
Well, we can go quickly right over the PulseX stats. I mean, the number of trades and looking at those graphs by the daily and cumulative, those are great. So yeah, if we go to the PulseX stats on Go Pulse. Yeah, look at these daily trades. That looks like it's getting busier. It looks like Santa's coming to town. Like, my, that is exactly what we want to see. A nice, busy, active chain. Lots of swaps, lots of trades, lots of buy and burn activity. And scroll down to look at the volume as well. But, I mean, it generally mimics the trades a little bit. And, yeah, we've seen some pretty good spiking in recent days. I had to reset my math. It's been a lot lower today, so we'll have to see it comes back. But I mean, it was trending where I'm like, oh God, I got to set this a lot closer to $100 million. Just kind of started out because it was already ramping up quite a bit. And I'm like, is this just the beginning of the bull cycle year? Like, we could see some really stellar numbers here. I mean, the liquidity increase too. That is incredible to see.
Yeah, I think the liquidity is interesting because, I mean, you think part of this is the price appreciation? Is that a factor in it too, as well as some of
yes,
actually be
price will affect the liquidity as well as it being added as too. Yeah,
it'd be nice to have a breakdown of like what the top ad, like the cumulative number of ads. Then we got the like what Well Pulse and Hexwell and stuff do as far as big pieces coming in and stuff like that. But it'd be nice to have a breakdown of like which ones were ads versus, price go up and that value too. But yeah, we definitely seen a ton of the bridge activity we've been covering on the show lately as well. So pretty amazing. Oh, buy and burn. Oh, they got the let's do the largest buy and burn.
Yeah.
13 days ago. Look at this. Wow. Was it 41? So the bounty was $41. The amount burned was $41,000. Wow. So the bounty is 1%?
0.1%.
Or 0.1%. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, that's right. Wow. Okay, so some of these are pretty recent. So 4 of the top 10 biggest buy and burns happened in the last 20 days. There you go.
Oh yeah, she's cooking. She is speeding up here. Several of them are like a year old, but yeah, we're starting to see some ones in the last month that are starting to pick up. It comes with the extra value that's sitting around. Everybody on chain gets a little richer. I mean, they're still swapping the same number of tokens, but the tokens are worth more, and this is tracking the dollar amount. So it is. It makes it a lot sexier to look at.
Yeah, for sure. A couple questions in the chat. First one, Gerardo. Question for the group: PulseX buy and burn seems like it's burning a lot of supply, but the price is slowly rising during the peak of the bull. How do you guys think it will respond?
Well, this really kind of depends on the factors because it's kind of interesting as it's going. Like I just checked, and liquidity is even higher again. Like I mean, we were at 1.36 trillion when I did my math, and it's at 1.41 trillion right now. I mean, liquidity kind of got surprisingly thick for the start of a bull run, and the higher the liquidity and the higher the price. I mean, even when we see the volume increases, like if price and volume rise together, we're not actually going to see an increase in burn speed. We'll still see a decrease because of the exponential curve of the pool. Like as you buy half, you can only take out half. So, I mean, eventually the buy and burn slows down more and more over time, but it'll have speed up cycles when we see people dumping into it mania-wise during bear market scares and other events. But I mean, yeah, the buy and burn will gradually slow down and get stifled even with the increasing volume. But I mean, we should still see the price increasing well, unless people are dumping, in which case no, that buy and burn can just chew through it if the price is being held down. So I think during the next 12 months, we're going to see a slowdown on the buy and burn as everybody is manic buying it. But as soon as we enter bear market territory, that's when I think it'll ramp right back up and start chewing through those extra tokens again.
It's a great question too, that I think probably a lot of people are wondering at this point after, we've had the huge hype on PulseX as far as the token goes, PLSX. And then, a lot of people are expecting, single-sided staking. Like, what can I do with my PulseX? We have the farms. Yeah, I mean, what do you have on that question too? Like, what is the reason to buy PulseX other than you think 10,000x, you think 1,000x, you think whatever target is in your mind for gains? Like, what can we do with it? And what do you think? You think there'll be anything added in the future? Again, all these different speculation going around that, but why buy PulseX?
No, that's a great question. I mean, there was the original speculation that the PulseX tokens were going to be part of a DAO at one point, which was part of the motivation for me. But unfortunately, I haven't read into the code or really verified like if there was any DAO function left in them. So, I mean, if they're not voting shares, then it does come to whether, some sort of voting, if any kind of voting system is minted or created around them so they do have some type of use, that would be amazing. So, I'm still a little speculative on that. But, as time goes by, I guess I'm a little less hopeful because it seems like the incentive pools are still just controlled through team and OA sources. So, in the meantime, the DEX is slowly getting upgrades over time. We've seen different changes over the past year and a half. So I do believe as time continues, we may see utility come to the PulseX tokens because single-sided staking was played with in testnet, but it was no guarantee it was ever going to come to the system. Because, in the concept of why anyone would use it is it's not a way for RH to create even more tokens to pay another kind of incentive token. It was a concept of, if, say, PulseX was a community that had strong hands, so people were constantly trying to give them tokens to reinforce their token supply, like, ooh, we're going to create a new token, we're going to hand out some stuff, who do we give it to? Well, maybe we hand it to the strong-handed people, but currently, even if there was single-sided stake activated, RH isn't going to create a token. Who's going to want to give it to the paper-handed people of PulseX that created a nice double bottom chart right now? Not until it's mooning again. So, maybe at the top of the bull market, wouldn't it be interesting if single-sided staking was actually created and all of a sudden new projects coming to Pulse, flocking from Ethereum and Solana, hoping to get a piece of our share, all of a sudden are now handing out mass amounts of tokens to PulseX holders? That would be cool timing. No idea if that would happen. That would just be entertaining. That'd be awesome. I'm imagining it right now, but I hadn't considered it the whole time I'm holding PulseX. I'm like, that's not why I'm holding it. But now I'm like, maybe I'm not holding enough. Crap. Why'd you have to ask me that, Max?
I know it's one of those questions that keeps evolving over time. I think the bear market kind of drags the mood up and down. But now I hope everyone's reminded. Again, that's what we're trying to do with this stream and all the other content and stuff too. You've got some Moo Math we'll bring up a bit as well. Like, remind people, what is the power of this thing? Why did they sack again? What is the promise? What are the ideals that are being discussed? I did a lot of content on, even talked about why Richard talked about single-sided staking and the different tweets and stuff around that, and why maybe there's other ways that PulseX can provide more value, liquidity, farming, how that could be more valuable than the single-sided staking portion stuff too. Again, everyone's like, I got my tokens, what do I do with them? If I don't want to trade them, it's so much simpler with Hex. It's like, I got my tokens, I don't want to trade them, I can stake them. But with PulseX, like, I got my tokens, I don't want to trade them. I can
just have to hold
them. I can hold them. I can farm them. I can, there's, at least in the core ecosystem, there's not a whole lot of options. However, how many times we have to remind everyone, Richard said, he's got lots of tricks up his sleeve, and who knows what 2025 holds with upgrades.
Yeah. No, it's very true. And that's where now, I mean, we've got third-party protocols popping up here and there all over the chain. And I mean, this is where, like, I mean, with things like Maximus, we saw a third-party protocol come up and create an interesting staking scheme to back up the value of PEX. So, I mean, making those was quite interesting, like as an add-on. And this is where if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure one of the dexes actually like allowed, not sure if it's safe or how the staking contract is audited, because I mean, there was another dex in this community that had their staking contract hacked on this chain. But I'm pretty sure there's a dex that's sharing part of their issuance token with PulseX holders if they stake it in that dex. Have you heard of that?
I don't think I've heard of that. Only the third-party projects I've heard of for the community projects. I know there's places you can. I'm pretty sure. I mean, some dexes. I think was it maybe 9inch was staking.
Yeah,
remember that was pretty.
Yeah,
good.
I think it's their BBC. So I mean, I don't know how safe it is to go stick your precious PulseX over in their staking contract, but I mean, that's essentially the single-sided staking that Richard Hart promised. And I think they did run it for a while. I don't know if they're still doing it because I never see a tweet or a mention about it, but I remember it being said at some point when I think they were first launching.
Well, there's that, and there's also what is it? Power City has the PulseX. Again, doing research about loan protocols, all that stuff. There's that piece, and there's also I think doesn't fiat. Yeah, I'm pretty sure fiat. There's different leverage opportunities and stuff too. Again, this is like outside of your basic trading, holding, staking type of stuff. Again, do your research, find out the risks, see if it's right for you. Look at the percentages, look at the ROI. But there's different community products where you can put it. But as far as the core goes, as far as like on PulseX, what you can do, I mean, honestly, when I look at the site, there's still plenty of room for more buttons and stuff, right? Like what, when you go here, can you think in the future there'll be more than 2 options on trade and liquidity? I mean, like it still feels like there's so much more potential for, if you can imagine the devs, I always like to do this. So there's always a private test net, right? There's always a dev environment where they're, if they're writing new code, there's always something that's not public, right? There's always something they're testing if they are indeed developing or doing new features. So if you think they're doing new features, and if you can imagine what those, whatever they may be, and then whenever they get, if and when they ever get pushed to be public, again, that's when they become live. That's when, you get to interact with them, play with them. But it's like, if you don't see it here already, it's kind of hard to imagine, but just, there's always a private testnet. As long as a project's alive and not dead and people are still writing code for it, there's always another place things could be getting tested and pushed and played with. And maybe we'll see some new stuff in 2025. I feel like there's definitely room for more options and more things up here on PulseX. So I wouldn't bet against that. I'll say that.
No, with any software, there's generally always some room for improvement. As the world changes, as the technologies we get access to change, oh yeah, we will see changes and improvements. What they are going to look like, I unfortunately, I just not sure I can put my brain in that zone right now to even fathom it. I mean, as you pointed out, like you said, this is your 3rd cycle. Admittedly, I have crossed the 3-year mark. So this is making my 1st cycle. I've never even personally got to really enjoy a bull market. I came in at the end of the last one. So like, this is the real good part I've been waiting for. And I'm kind of like a kid on Christmas waiting for Santa to come down the stairs. So I'm so busy about that. I haven't even looked under the tree to figure out what I got yet. So, I mean, what's PulseX going to give me? I don't know. Come on, Santa, get down the stairs. So, yeah, I don't know. Brain's just stuck in one spot and haven't really gone there yet. But I mean, how about you? Do you have any imagination what they could be, or something that you'd want to see on the PulseX DEX?
I could totally see if there was. Again, I don't know what the percentage chance I would put on that would be single-sided staking, but that definitely, I could see that in here. Actually, I'm pretty sure I'll try to find that tweet where Richard talked about it. He showed a screenshot of a very early version of PulseX that had single-sided staking. I'm pretty sure I'll have to look up and find that link, and I'll show everyone. Chat, let me know if you want to see that. I think I have the link somewhere. But I could see that. I could see single side staking. I could see, instead of V1, V2, I talked about before being like burn and earn, like something making that a little bit more clear. Nobody knows what V1, V2 is unless, you're like if you're really into this, you're doing liquidity providing, you've been in the ecosystem for a while, but like a new person coming here, what is V1? What am I supposed to do? Stable. Okay. Like some of that stuff I could see that changing. I could see the stablecoin stuff, which is kind of interesting as well. And all the people have been paying attention or even know about. But there is, we have stablecoins. I got a lot of liquidity from them. And let's see how much it talks about the APR. Let's see. Was it like 10% or something? Where can I see that?
I think scroll back down a little bit. There was stable pool right there. Yeah, top pool.
7% right now. Yeah, so you got a USDT, USDC, and DAI stable pool. I think I was paying 10% before, and it's around 7% now for putting money on DEX and earning over time. So that's pretty cool. So that was one feature that, again, came out. Not a lot of people, I think, probably just missed it or weren't paying attention. Like, that's a new feature that's just maybe a few months old, I want to say. Mm-hmm. I think just the whole connection, maybe just more more pretty pictures, more stats, more stuff like this I could see. I don't know, if you just search RHMax PulseX, I feel like I've did so many streams about talking about different ideas and the different stuff Richard was talking about. Stablecoins, if we do have an RH stablecoin, a new introduction or otherwise, that I could see that being like profiled up here as well. Mm-hmm. New farms, we could see new farms. We could see, we saw some before that were there. If you go to finished, you can see we had Pepe Farm, we had Link, we had Uni, we had RapBTC, we had Hex and Hex farms. So there's a lot of exciting things that can happen on this DEX. I don't think it takes, I don't even think it'll take too much. It'll just be like, once if and when we get number go up, then it's like, oh, everything's exciting now. Look, I told you, this is totally a good idea to get into this ecosystem. It'll be so much more obvious at that point, or it'll feel that way. Question from Dom, though. How much PulseX do I need to be rich? Very interesting question. One you've never heard before, right?
No, never. But my most frustrating answer is responding with a question. How long do you got? Because, that's the thing. This is buying or never going to.
Mindset now. 3 to 6 months.
So 3 to 6 months? Oh, I don't know, man. Like, nobody knows what the actual future is going to look like. I look at my moon math to try and illustrate here's what could be built in. So I've been speculating myself at like how big it could be, but what do you consider rich? This is not financial advice, but when I ran it on its most conservative go, it pretty much said like, all right, if everything goes wrong for the year, there should be still a built-in 3x to price if the market doesn't buy anything during this bull market when the market's buying everything. So I actually went through and ran some more simulations and cranked in some potential buys from potentially the OA wallet from the actual market, some potential sells, seeing if we get like 2 peaks potentially in the year, like just guessing and throwing things around because nobody has any idea. But if the year went well, really, really well, 100x is not out of the question. So, between 3x to 100x, that's quite a range. So, how much do you need to be rich? But like, hey, you want something that's practically a sure bet that it's going to be worth more in 12 months than it is right now? That's pretty decent. I don't know. I am gung-ho on it. I think it's great, and I think that like I have a long time to wait. So even if the market has to fight about it and I have to wait for like 10% more of it to be destroyed over the next 7 years and wait for that bull run for people to really appreciate that it should be $1 a token, I will. Like, I've got the time where I'm embedded. I see this thing as a long-term workhorse. It's just never going to stop. And who knows what the market will decide or speculate when it actually flips PulseChain's value for a bull run. when all of a sudden it's doing what Hex is doing, and it's got a larger market cap than the entire L1 chain it's based on. No idea, but I think it's going to be cool, and I'm glad I'm already holding some so I don't get FOMO pants while it's happening.
Never go full FOMO pants.
Never go full FOMO pants.
Just scrolling, see if we have any other questions. I had a couple here. What about ink? From AOKG, how rare will ink be years down the road? Any thoughts on that?
So yeah, ink is interesting because the issuance rate is constant. So we saw basically the largest inflation spike we're ever going to see this year, its first year. The whole second year will only double its supply, and then the third year will only increase it by 50%, and then follow, like, it's just gonna, because it's still coming at the same rate. So I mean, 1 + 1, that's a huge jump, but 1 + 1 + 1, that's not much, and 300 + 1, that's really nothing much. So I mean, like, as the years carry on, it's going to seem to get more rare, because compared to the total supply and however it's valued, the issuance, like, I mean, there was 0 tokens when it came into existence. So its issuance rate, its inflation was like infinitely large, and it's just scaled down against the supply. So it's a weird way of thinking of it. But when looking at market rate growth, like, so Hex compounds, like, it increases, but it compounds that 3.69%. Like, it is of the total supply, and that supply is larger every year. So, I mean, as an issuance, like, it's not deflating like PulseX, but it's one of the more interesting, because, like, yeah, if you look at it as a percentage of total amount and then how much you're issuing, well, technically that percentage is forever shrinking and forever shrinking. So, but I like just looking at it as a regular issuance rate. I forget what it works out to. Is it 27 million tokens a year or 30? I forget. I forget what site that was. It was a really good site somebody put together for the issuance of it. I think KDP put it out.
Was that from Dipcatcher doing the
Maybe.
Let's see. Is that the
Maybe.
incentive? What was that called?
Yeah, we might be able to Google it at this point.
Okay.
PulseX is getting a little less, or Pulse is getting a little less gatekept.
I think it's on Vercel. It's one sec. I've got some ink issuance. Briss in chat. Brissology. You might know this. Anyone else in chat? What was it called? I'm pretty sure I got the. I think 27 million. Maybe I'd seen that from GoPulse or something though too.
Well, yeah, if we go to GoPulse right now, we can actually look at the total amount after a year and a half and kind of backtrack it.
Well, let me go to the stats real quick. So if you go to Go Real DeFi, click stats on navigation. I'm pretty sure I added it here. I'll add all these links of things I don't want to forget on there. There we go. Inksupply.anvil.app. There we go. Boom. You get to watch this thing while it loads. Hopefully it loads. Let's see. Please load. It may take a second or two.
Why, fate, must you be so cruel?
Yeah, sometimes it doesn't like this browser either. Let me scroll down and see if anyone in the chat has any answers on this too. Come on, chat. I'm not seeing chat. If you have some key stats for ink, let me know, or another thing you could try. I know I tried this last time. For some reason, it doesn't like loading in this browser.
I'm on the hunt, because usually I save these things as well.
Okay. Stay with us, chat.
Cool. That's different. We're getting somewhere. Aha, that's the one. That's the one.
There we go.
All right. So yeah, current supply is now 50 million. And the inflation, so yeah, the current daily inflation rate will continue to change based on that. But the issuance rate, I don't know if that's going to say what it is anywhere. Like it's, so yeah, we've been running for what, a little over 500 days. So we're getting just under 100,000 ink a day. That's the issuance rate. So compared to the total supply, that issuance rate percentage will go down. But yeah, we're getting about 100K ink tokens per day. There we go. And that's why our ink supply goes up on that straight line when you compare the graph. That is,
and because I found the link for early version of PulseX, single sign stake, pancake swap. What else? What other channel can you find this on? I haven't seen many people talk about this. Watching PulseX.com devs test some features. I could see single staking PulseX to get incentive token, but not PulseX, as there is no inflation. Testing is going well. So saying staking PulseX to get the incentive token, but not staking PulseX to get PulseX. That's what he's trying to say here.
I remember this one too, because it felt like a response to one of my math models when I got confused on the dev's wording, and I was like, oh, wait. And I thought there was going to be some extra PulseX that maybe it wouldn't all go to the burn address. I was like, well, maybe some of it could go to stakers on the single-sided staking. And then it was like he put this out like, hell no, forget it. That's what it felt like, because it was days after I put together that part of my math model, and then I just had to kill that part of the math altogether because I was like, oh, I'm wrong. I'm very, very wrong. I remember this. This is a wonderful walk down memory lane.
There's a lot of great tweets. I mean, people forget, I speculate they do at least, that I don't see a lot of people, showing these old tweets about the dev process and like these screenshots and asking these questions before, like a year or two before launch, because it took a long time to launch. I think everyone remembers that. It took a long time to launch, but at the same time, all these like really cool, like, oh, that's what, kind of getting in the mind of the devs and what Richard's thinking, all this stuff beforehand. Pretty cool. I do like seeing this too.
Yeah. I mean, wow.
Before we get into anything you want to cover, before we get into the moon math, because that's I think the people, I'm not sure. Oh yeah, there's actually one other thing I want to bring up before then, but why he's prepping the moon math. Moon math upcoming though. Moon math upcoming. Let's see. I did a poll recently. I've been doing some polls from time to time, and chat, I need an answer on this one. Where's the best yield farms in crypto? Trying to cross communicate with the other farmers out there. We like the ink a lot over here, but chat, give me an answer. Pancake Swap, PulseX, LFJ. I think that's Let's Effing Joe. I think he's formerly Trader Joe's yield farms, or Joe's farms or something like that. I was doing some research about across like Avalanche and the different chains, what some yield farms would be, and Marinade Finance, which I think is a Solana yield farm. So chat, give me an answer. Which one of these has the best yield farms in crypto? So we can see the results before we head on. You don't have to give me the inverse. I see the chat also wants to tell me the ones they don't like or have commentary on. Yeah, the inverse is fine for the comments, but to actually get me to click one of these buttons, I need the answer here. Diamond Hand Generate, thank you for the answer as well. And let's see, again, these are most of my audience. Most people are going to see it are probably hardcore in the RH ecosystem. They're going to like PulseX. However, it looks like we are reaching some people who like Pancake Swap, a little bit of LFJ, and a little bit of Marinade as well. But yeah, I mean, just looking at the PulseX stuff as well. Again, there's plenty of other farms out there and across the ecosystem. But just wanted to see what kind of responses we would get as far as yield farms in crypto. Hopefully people come to PulseChain and take a look at PulseX as well. So that one, and then let's see. Yeah, hopefully I was looking when I was doing research on yield farms. I came across D.Fi, and if you go there and you look at, let's see, is it crypto market? Where was I trying to look for the chain? Where can I see chain? Where was it? You can try to look at chain here somewhere. Where was it? It wasn't there. Anyway, somewhere here I was talking about. I didn't say PulseChain on here, and so I tweeted them. Hopefully they'll see it. Plenty of people I think replied and got some engaged with it as well. So hopefully we get to add it to some of these things, because literally, if I was a person in crypto didn't know about PulseChain, and I go to d.fi to look at the yield farms, but they don't list PulseChain there, I'm only going to see them from all the other chains. I'm not going to come across PulseX because they're not listing PulseChain stuff. So that kind of getting them to list that and have us visible to all the people out there can only help bring people to the ecosystem. So yeah, that's all I got on there. You want to moon math it up?
Yeah, let's blast through this. Let's do a little bit moon math, I guess. I gotta get to share my screen settings here.
Done.
Oh, present. It's just labeled present here. That's share screen. Here we go.
Huh? Reminds me, I was rewatching The Wolf of Wall Street recently, and I was getting pumped up for the moon math. I was like, remember when they're at lunch and he's doing he gives him the talk. What's his name? He's talking to Leo. What's that guy's name?
Oh, I can't remember. Do you feel it? You feel it? Yeah.
Do the grunting. Yeah. Matthew McConaughey. There you go. Shout out to Matthew McConaughey and
Matthew McConaughey.
Leo. So funny. All right. Here we go. I see a stall ball. I think it's gonna be a crystal ball.
Yes. I'm trying to make sure the warning, not financial advice, is what's most clear on the screen here as it's wiggling side to side. And then, the crystal ball. This is the complex, huge math things. For everybody that's new, we'll do the quickest breakdown I can. When I first started watching Richard Hart, he said specifically, I hate your what if games. I won't play what if games. What if a meteor comes? What if I don't care? And then people said enough what if things, like, what if the buy and burn? I'm like, I'll play the what if games. So it started as a simple little liquidity pool. There's the most simplest of math, that X times Y equals K. With it, it's like a teeter-totter or a seesaw. You can keep track of how the thing's balanced. So because of that, you can do math.
Sorry,
and
could you zoom in or full screen or something? Just I want to make sure everyone can see it.
So this is me zooming out on the what if game here. So I mean, it's just an insane amount of math that I just rerunning the same math over and over again. But this allows me to kind of make a really, 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 really loose simulation of what 15 years could look like, but I can't anticipate all the variables, so it can't be that accurate. But I just wanted to prove to people that the buy and burn was going to make an impact on how this thing worked, depending on how I ramped it up. So with that, all this complicated math, it got a little easier when I just broke it into the crystal ball. So we just put in a couple variables, and then we get a couple outputs, and that makes it a little easier. So the adoption rate year over year really doesn't even matter. That's not going to come into effect because we're just going to do 1 year worth of run here. And I got the LP scaled to size that it's at the same point as what's actually going on in PulseX. So I had gotten the price to the right size. Now, how badly did I mess with this stuff? So, yeah. Don't even need that in there. But month one price, do I have this all set right? Make sure, is this all zeroed out? Yeah, it is. Okay. All right. Every time I come and look at this, I'm like, was I playing with it? Did I leave anything broken? So I was trying to match it to approximately where the current price is, but I'm thinking that maybe I did break this recently because this is not matching what I had it set up for. So unfortunately, I don't think I can. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think my computer rebooted since the last time I was messing with things. Yes, it did. 17.2 was the answer for that. I have to rebalance.
Just wait till the computers come to life. Then you'll be like,
yeah,
oh.
and I got to rebalance the liquidity pool all over again. All right, so then this.
We'll do it live.
Yep, 530, I believe.
That's Bill O'Reilly for that clip.
Yeah, that's getting closer, and we're at. What's the current price there, Max? Can you check that for me right now as I'm doing this? Might as well make it as accurate as possible.
Yeah, what was that? I think it's 40523. Let me check.
523.
I want to say 525. 40525.
525. All right, I'm at 575, so I have to do another adjustment.
What if the buy and burn burns the entire supply of PulseX? I think this actually came up. Well, I think did Richard address this one time? For some reason I remember he was like, then we'll, I think the answer was something like, we'll make more, like we'll fork if we maybe it was a response to some like deflationary, like whatever token, maybe it was Pulse or something at the time. It didn't have to be PulseX, but it was basically like, if something like that happens, we can fork and add more tokens. But if that happens, then it would be very, very successful if that happened. I think.
If I remember correctly, I don't think that was really on his concern list. And also, like I said, let's say you dump $100 million in the first year, and that manages to destroy 5% of the supply. That's great. That also pushes the price up. So then you dump $100 million in the next year. Well, now you're only going to get 4% of the supply. You're going to push the price up. Basically, you can't ever actually burn all of the tokens. It's just going to push price up so insanely that people will be trading them like they're Satoshis.
I like that timeline. I'm okay with that timeline.
So price is set right now. Wow, people have been adding liquidity again. It's not just from selling down, you jerks. All right, there we go. Now there's 1.41 almost trillion in here. The price is at 525. There we go. This is more accurate looking. So after 1 month, we see just a little bit of increase. All right, there we go. There we go. So
if you hit the close and document recovery, it might give you a little bit more space on the side too.
Yeah, it would. That would. Yeah. Let's. Okay.
Should. Yeah. Oh, there we go. Okay.
There. So it's open a little bit more now. So anyways, month over month, basically, we just don't worry about the 5-year, really. I'll zoom in because I don't want you guys paying attention to the 5-year. I'm just trying to do this 1 year at a time. So this basically just breaks down 12 months and what it could look like over time as the graph goes. So in here, I set bullish in terms for the year that basically 100% we are set to exactly what Uniswap's going to do. So, or not, that was originally the concept with this, as I was basing off of Uniswap's volume, but we have our own volume now. So I set this to 100% because I matched the current volume that was in it when I was checking this and trying to speculate what would happen for the year. So, It was, did you think we could keep an average of $100 million daily for the year? And that was a scale of 1, which I must have a sale in here somewhere. Oh, something else I have to adjust is the X's since launch. Yeah, because that's a little bit broken. Oh, man. This is not fun, Max. This is not fun.
It's okay.
All right.
You got this.
Yeah. It's this right here. D18.
Is the math so bullish it broke Excel? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. All right. There it is. There it is. Okay. Current price 0525. There we go. You don't want to know how many hours this took me the first time, because it's been over a year since I done it when I was trying to fix it. Luckily, this is a little faster.
69.
So there, the X's now look a little more appropriate, and so does the value since launch. So this was basically in the least bullish terms possible, that the buy and burn would still build in a 20% X right here. Now we'll see a little bit of adoption over the years. So I had that just at 10% adoption over the year. Doesn't really affect it too much, but or no, yeah, year over year. Yeah, whatever. The scale's what matters most. So to really affect this for right now, so we're going on an average of $100 million swap a day. What do you think it can get by the end of the bull market? If it's, say, $200 million an hour, we use a scale of 2. We're looking at a little bit better, something a little bit more of an improvement here. If we see, no, wait. Man, I am really starting to get, I was not apparently prepared for this. It destroyed what I was working with, because I don't think it's using the right amount of volume.
It's okay. We got time.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think unfortunately, my model is broken. I can't do this tonight. I have to take some time to revamp this. Unfortunately, the model I revamped didn't save, and my computer killed it. So the math is broken. Sorry. It's been a very frustrating week. Let everybody know in the audience, my car got hit from a hit and run. They didn't even leave a note. Luckily, I wasn't in it, so I didn't get hurt, but no proof. Flat tire today. Computer crashed and took all my work. Sorry, guys. If you want to see this math, you're going to have to actually tune into my channel and have a look. Sorry, Max. Wanted to make this work, but it is way too much, and it's getting too late. I got to get going.
No worries. No worries. Hey, it's only up from here, as they say, right? It's only up from here. You got this.
Only up from here.
Heck of a promo. Heck of an inverse. You know what? I can't get it working, but I got it. I got the Conamount channel. Yeah, you really do. You got. Actually, let me bring up your channel real quick, just so you can tell people and show them about Top Gun. Let's see. Yeah, so you can kind of just show them what you've been working on and what they could say in the near future. Yeah, so this is Top Gun's videos, the Moon Math PulseX. Yeah,
Yeah, the bull there, the really fiery bull. That's the most recent one. That's the one where I'd actually made the math about a week ago and it was working. And then I did the video and then, yeah, my computer crashed afterwards again. So I
All right.
lost all the math updates.
It's okay. I'm going to drop this link in. Maybe folks can go over there for the moon. It's just the moon math portion. It's fine. It's
Yeah.
I mean, it's just for fun. It's just it. So maybe
Yeah.
you can explain, if you don't mind. Can you just explain like how do you these pieces that you're putting into it, the liquidity, the volume, the price, how do they add up to like this model of okay, this is how we can, again, crystal ball, look at what price could be if these things happen.
Well, the simplest way to put it is I'm basically trying to look at how much volume month over month is going to come into the deck. So, I mean, if you think it's going to do 1 billion or 1.2 billion over the year, approximately 100 million a month, then I'm taking a liquidity pool that has so much in it and I'm adding 100 million into it. Get to see what that looks like, copy that information and put it into the next segment for the next month as the starting value, and then add another 100 million into it. Or basically I slice and segment, so maybe that amount is increasing over the year. So it's 50 million, then 60 million, then 70 million month over month as it ramps up, because the bull market should ramp up theoretically. So, and in there I did also simulate the market buys and sells, and those I just guess at, like maybe the OA will put in $100 million and I can just add that into one of those month segments and that will put it in the math. So basically I'm just slicing the simulation month by month to get a little bit of a breakdown, and it allows me to try and generate a chart with Excel. So it gives me some room to add more variables and actually look at, like, this is what the buy and burn segment of buying is going to do. And now I can simulate what if the market buys this amount, and then I can simulate what if the OA buys this on top of it with his look into RH.com wealth. So, I mean, all the things that we've got going on for the future, you got no idea what could happen. So all I can do is start plugging in different futures. Maybe this will happen and it would look like that. Or maybe this will happen and it would look like that. And yeah, that's quite a pretty chunk of change just sitting there that could randomly go in. And I mean, when you look at a liquidity pool and you realize, oh, there's only currently, now this at least is accurate math. I can go double check again quickly, but yeah, there's currently about $74 million worth of value in with the liquidity pool. And you're looking at something where he's got $660 million of ETH. Well, if he took $75 million of ETH and dropped it into buying PulseX tonight, that's an instant 4x that the market would have to start selling down. And then all that volume would amp up the buy and burn a little bit and cushion how quickly the price falls. But I don't think the OA is going to turn around and drop $75 million in just tonight. But for example, these things are possible. So my math model lets me plug around and use my imagination and say, what if in March he just decided to start buying? And then I started running that in my simulation because it's fun. It's fun to play with. It's nice to imagine, but I mean, it's not much different than sitting around with your friends and imagining you're an astronaut when you're 5 years old. It doesn't make it very true.
You know what? I think as an adult, pretend to be an astronaut, or metaphorically, by price go up so much, we go to the moon. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I'm still aiming at the moon. I'm an adult and I'm still pretending to be an astronaut. Like, it's an apt metaphor.
Shout out to Crypto Krong real quick. I don't know if you played with his moon math. He has, and look into pttc.com. He has moon math that you can do for any token. But now I'm kind of curious. I want to put in PulseX and just see what his says real quick as well. And then Top Gun, you got to come back on sometime and hit us with that one too.
That's where, like, I actually have seen his math and I think it's very well done, because this at least, unlike me, I have to manually input everything because I'm using Excel. It doesn't draw on APIs like this web-based app. So like he can get better, more accurate information into this, and the tool's nice and easy and user-friendly to run for public access. I think it's awesome. But this basically simulates like one massive buy to the liquidity pool. So like that's where one of my months is essentially that, where I'm layering them over and over again to try and get a time horizon picture. And this is just without time, what if all that money was injected at once? So that's a difference in the math, but I mean, it's still something to be curious about when you're looking to RH.com and going, well, he won't do it, but what if he put $660 million in? And you can fantasize, very possibly, because it's that Kong website is definitely that's definitely a great tool for everybody to play with. I'm glad somebody got around to building a version that everybody in the community can play with and start to see what these numbers look like.
There's also on GoPulse, again, I don't think a lot of people use GoPulse for looking at token stats other than the core coins, but even if you go to their page and you scroll down to any coin where it has data on burn stuff, you can see 0.8%, 1.14 trillion PulseX burn from the supply. I mean, you can go to, other tokens as well and see, even if you go to Ink, for example, whatever your favorite community coin is, you can go to it, see the burn supply, 0.25% burned of Ink. I did other examples and stuff too, but
cool.
Pretty cool.
I mean,
cool.
That must be third-party protocols that are burning it. I think Time Internet Money, their wallet might be actually burning some, because I'm like, PulseX isn't burning it.
Yeah, there may be community protocols and otherwise. If you click on holders of any of the coins and you scroll down, you can see it marks the burner. So number 25 is the burner. Number 25 wallet, is the burn address for Ink, for example, of the current holders. So pretty cool. I didn't even know this like exact stats map for each one. So that's pretty sweet. Quick look at liquidity. By far 95%. There's plenty of DEXs on PulseChain, but 95%, a cool 764 mil in V1 and V2 on PulseX. So around 800 million on-chain liquidity, getting close to $1 billion. Hopefully we'll get to $1 billion not too far away. And pretty sweet. Oh, the token. So, the pair address. Sorry, I tapped into PulseX. Thank you, Paul. So, yeah, I thought it was just an error on the site, but let me go to, because I can't copy from there. So let me just type in PulseX DAI. So I can do this example real quick. Is that the one that, so 2323, that's the same one. Thank you, Paul. And then, oops. Let's see, let me copy that. Go over here. Yeah, you gotta watch it. I typed in the token address, not the pair address. So, and this is against $1 DAI. So, current market prices is 5246 moon math. So at 10x, you just basically drop a zero. That's easy enough, and that's what you can see based on that. And then I was gonna see if it could reach any other. So I guess it's more interesting when you look at like not paired to DAI. If you paired it with like Pulse, and you could see the factor of the target token price of the other paired token target price. Yeah, I think that's the price of the other pair. Yeah, well, I'll go through this with Kong again sometime as well. But anyways, everyone check that out. I'll put that in the chat if you want to see. Top Gun Hexadian. What do you want to take us out on? What do you want to wrap up on? Any moon math pieces that we didn't discuss, or you want to make sure people have in mind for this upcoming bull season?
Just to basically remind them that Hart's Law is very real. So, I mean, when I looked at it and I start building in a minimum of a 3x to almost 100x, well, in the actual buy and burn in 1 year, it was more about 3x to 10x, I think, was getting built into it. Then I was market simulating another 10x, so that's potentially 100x. And then that doesn't even take into account PulseChain going up, because these x's multiply each other. So 10x times 100x is 1000x. So I mean, when I'm lowballing it, I'm like, hey, yeah, 3x, but hey, 3 times my money is a lot better than Wall Street. And when I'm moon mathing it and going, oh my God, euphoria. Okay, no, that can't be true. I'm seeing 1000x. So, I mean, PulseX still has the potential to be incredibly exciting. And unlike most other things where it's got that level of potential, there's a lot less risk, because wow, there's actually a guaranteed buyer in the system, our very own drunken Michael Saylor AI bot buying the tops and lows. It will never stop. And it doesn't need to find investors. It keeps just using its own money it gets from volume trading. So yeah, it's bullish. It's exciting. RH takers are exciting. PulseChain has now, I think, hit the 5th most volume chain. We're about to flip base. Coming for you.
555.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, I'm still kind of in disbelief, but everything's lying. The stars are aligning here. We've got one of the best narratives. We've got one of the strongest, loudest cults. We've got an actual caring founder who doesn't dump in our heads. He's got big money bags. He might dump those on our heads and make us richer that way. So I mean, like, when you look like, oh, we're just, got a bunch of scam to the upside problems here. So I mean, just totally avoid Pulse. You don't want to get scammed to the upside.
The rallying call of 2025. That'd be if it was. Yeah, I got scammed to the upside hard.
Yeah.
Before we go to, I just posted this poll during the stream. I want to get the pulse of the people too. But Top Gun, I was asking you, do you think single sign staking come to PulseX in 2025? What do you think?
It might just because everybody's kind of been quiet about it, shut up about it. Nobody seems to care about it anymore. I think it might.
Well, there you go. So far, 55% of people share that sentiment. Pretty cool. I guess that was a yes, though. Just want to make sure. Yes, you
yes.
Think it's possible. Okay.
It's possible. It is very
possible. I'm not saying I even want it to, but yeah, it seems like there is some, I think some interesting features. I don't know why we wouldn't get some interesting upgrades or features in 2025. I don't know why we wouldn't. So it'd be fun to see. Top Gun X80. Where can people find out more? We'll put your channel in the chat as well. But you on Twitter? You on X? You on one of those platforms?
Yeah. The platform formerly known as Twitter. Yeah, I am on X, Top Gun Hexadian at Hex or at X or Twitter or whatever it is now. Blah blah blah. That's where I mostly am. Occasionally I hit YouTube, but it seems to be like 2 or 3 times a year. So if you want to interact with me, see my posts, it's primarily on X.
Awesome. Well, thanks again for coming on. Again, you know his channel. Maybe we'll do some more content. Maybe we'll come on again and talk about MoonMass stuff. But yeah, we've covered quite a bit today on PulseX. So if you're just coming back in the ecosystem because you sacked a year or two ago and you hadn't been keeping up and you want to see what's going on with PulseX, we covered a little bit of the basics, a little bit of things to be excited about, some of the price action stuff too. And who knows where this thing may go. I'm pretty sure I did tweet a while back. I was looking from the all-time low. A 10,000x with PulseX would be around 9 cents. Will we get to 1 cent? Will we get to 9 cents? Will we just drop some zeros? TBD.
At the very least,
praying hands
very bullish, very confident. We'll flip the ratio. It will no longer be PulseX, cheaper than Pulse. It'll 0.7 to 1. That'll flip. It'll be 1.1 to 1, 2 to 1. Like, you guys, it's going to be awesome.
Oh, all right. That's all we got for you today. Scivive and 5555. We are out.